was laid off, and he signed up for a thing called the Affordable Care Act. Some of it known as Obamacare. He's a registered Republican, and he's got an interesting story. Here's John.
Thanks, Gary. Hi. Good afternoon. You know, I drove over all the way from Greensboro, and it was worth it just to see the signs. You guys have a lot of creativity here in Raleigh. I'm John Thompson from over in Greensboro, and no one is paying me a dime to be here this afternoon. I'll turn 60 this summer. I've been married for 37 years. I have 3 grown sons. And like a lot of the GOP folks over there in that legislature, I'm pro-life. I'm also evangelical Christian. And for 28 years, I voted Republican. Now, here in North Carolina, especially when you get a little older, the boss does not have to have a reason to fire you. And in 2013, that's exactly what they did. And when I lost my job, I also lost my health insurance. Now, for any of those of you that have been laid off, you'll get what I'm getting ready to say. That when my wife and I received the $2,000 a month COBRA bill in the mail, that's what it would have cost us out of pocket to keep our employer health insurance. We just looked at each other and laughed. Now, in the past, we would just suck it up and make do and pray to God in heaven that no one would get sick or be rushed to the emergency room or have to go under the surgeon's knife. Because we knew that if we did, our goose was cooked. We'd be forever branded with a pre-existing condition. We'd never get insurance coverage again. Well, it took me a year to find another job with insurance. During the course of that year, the Tea Party nuts, again, right over there in that legislature, slashed unemployment benefits by 50%. Also, during that very same year, I got cancer. But thank God for Obamacare. The marketplace had just launched. I signed us up immediately. The tax credit helped us to afford the premium. It was our lifeline during my year out of work. Obamacare saved my life. Without it, I would have been uninsurable for the rest of my days. No diagnostic test, no surgery, no rehab, no hope. Now, I'm not a freeloader or a deadbeat. For 40 years, I've paid my taxes. I've worked to support my family. I've given to my church. I've contributed to my community. But in my hour of need, when my back was against the wall, in the richest country in the history of the universe, where was the GOP for me? Nowhere. In fact, if it was up to those guys and they could have done to Obamacare then what they're getting ready to do to it now, shoot, I'd probably be lying dead in my grave somewhere today. Now, my congressman over in Guilford County is a Club for Growth stooge named Ted Budd. Now, he's pretty representative of our North Carolina GOP delegation. Now, Ted tries to pass himself off as just a good old boy chicken farmer from over in Davie County who owns a mom and pop gun store. But in reality, his family owns a $94 million a year privately held company that makes its money on the backs of low-wage janitorial workers. Ted Budd is the 1%. Now, Ted doesn't give a rat's ass about getting rid of Obamacare because he's already reserved his seat on the healthcare lifeboat for his family, and he's throwing the rest of us to the sharks. Now, Ted is also a Bible-believing Christian. And he makes no bones about building his new political career on repealing the Affordable Care Act. And he lies through his teeth about health care. Ted, tell the truth that 43,000 of us in District 13 get our health insurance through the marketplace. We have one of the highest Obamacare participation levels in the country. We're 27th out of 435 congressional districts. Ted, tell the truth. 93% of participants qualify for the tax credit that help us to afford the premium. Ted, tell the truth that 300,000 of us in the district with pre-existing conditions now have protection under Obamacare where we didn't have it before. Ted, tell the truth that 120 of us in District 13 will needlessly die each and every year because of your support of Trump Care. Now, when Ted was sworn in back in January 2017 for his first term up there in Washington, his wife, Amy Kate, said that her husband would be a tremendous congressman because, and I'm quoting her here, because he has a great moral compass and he cares for people. Well, now, hold on. Now, that's exactly what you would expect from a Dallas Theological Seminary graduate and a follower of Jesus Christ. But Amy Kate, I've got news for you. Ted must have been asleep during those seminary classes. Because if his support of Trump care is any indication, your husband's moral compass is broke. Now, there's no evidence whatsoever over the past 40 years that tax cuts on the wealthy and big business either grow the economy, pay for themselves, or trickle down to the rest of us. But when they get rid of Obamacare and replace it with Trump care and then pass their tax reform bill, and it's very important you understand that all three of those are intimately connected. When they do it, they're giving big business and the top 1%, those elite million or so households way up at the very top making more than $400,000 a year or more, they're giving them a massive immediate $3.8 trillion tax cut. That's a huge number. Do you know how much that really is? I mean, with $3.8 trillion, we could pay off the entire annual budget deficit of the United States each year for the next 6 years. For $3.8 trillion, we could cover the comprehensive health needs of every North Carolina resident for the next 34 years. For $3.8 trillion, we could fund a total complete 4-year college education over at North Carolina State or down at Chapel Hill for every child born in the state of North Carolina for the next 62 years. I mean, think about all the great things we could do with $3.8 trillion. But instead, Ted Budd and his GOP cronies are giving it away to a bunch of rich folks. So here in America, we really have truly become a nation of moochers. And thanks to congressmen like Ted Budd, the moochers are all at the top. So on the one hand, the Ted Budds of this country are lining their own pockets as they give a small group of fat cats at the very top gazillions of dollars in tax cuts that they don't deserve and they certainly don't need, while on the other hand, he's kicking 23 million of us off our health care. He's stripping 50 million more of us of our pre-existing condition protections. He's killing 50,000 innocent American men, women, boys, and girls every year, while loading the backs of our children and our grandchildren with more than $6 trillion of unpaid debt. Hey, Ted, I hope you're listening out there. That's some amazing moral compass you have. Tell the truth and explain to us how that's going to make America great again. Thank you.